Welcome back to today's industry recap, and certainly an episode that focuses in on developments in Asia. Want to begin with Chinese carrier Juneyao Airlines refusing to take delivery of a brand new Boeing 787-9, which it is expected to acquire. This decision is being made due to ongoing political tensions. What is widely being called a trade war is escalating quite rapidly, and as a result, many sectors, including the aviation industry, are affected. According to sources, exclusive Bloomberg reporting says that Juneyao has decided to delay the acquisition of Boeing wide-body aircraft for the foreseeable future. Additional costs incurred in delivering planes from the United States have forced the Chinese carrier to reassess its options and delay acquisition efforts. According to the latest fleet data that was published on the 10th of April, Juneyao has a fleet of 102 jets, 87 of which are listed as active, and the average age of the operation is at 7.4 years. The airline heavily relies on the 787 Dreamliner. At the same time, just 9 units are present, but they're all for the 787-9, and with this being the only wide-body type in their operation, therefore it is absolutely pivotal for the long-haul operation towards in-demand locations that require a high-capacity plane, for this is all really Juneyao can actually offer. Delaying the acquisition of another 787 Dreamliner, while deemed necessary by the airline and therefore broader China, does have an adverse effect on meeting growth. Political tensions are also having considerable effects on many locations. In recent videos, I've discussed the impact over in Europe with Airbus, even looking at Delta and their dealings with the European plane maker too. However, for China and its aviation industry, it represents ultimately just one of the many tensions that we have seen take place with the country and especially the American plane maker in Boeing in recent times. After 2 737 MAX jets unfortunately crashed in the late 2010s, China quickly suspended their deliveries and grounded that specific single-aisle type. What was initially labelled actually by some you may recall as being too critical of a response would later prove to be the right decision, as many more countries would follow what China did in grounding the planes to allow Boeing to work through its many challenges. However, when Boeing proved that it had recertified the MAX, China remained very hesitant to accept the plane back into service, let alone allow airlines to take delivery of the aircraft. This was spurred on by many reasons. Some would say that they were ultimately being just a little bit more careful. Others would lead with political tension talk. These political tensions are continuing, however, and now, obviously, types such as the 787 will not be delivered due to the additional costs. Ultimately, this is not just again isolated to Boeing and China. Boeing's competitor in Airbus also feels the heat as tensions rise, and the landscape surrounding tariffs seems to change on a daily basis. The plane maker's CEO, for example, said in mid-February that tariffs would disrupt its dealings with US-based carriers, and if they were to continue, would result in forced adjustments to its day-to-day operation. In fact, he went as far as saying that if the economic climate would worsen, well, they'd be forced to make changes to their business and accommodate other operators that were outside of this country. Over to the next story, and Thai Airways has confirmed an agreement with Airbus to begin upgrading its A350 fleet in the coming years. The agreement between the pair involves the state-of-the-art retrofitting process to significantly enhance the cabin product provided to customers of the Thailand-based carrier in future decades. The modernization efforts with Thai Airways are expected to commence in 2028, with the fleet's planned renewal occurring in phases. Thai Airways confirms the need for this work to be conducted in phases to really limit the impact on the airline's day-to-day operation, considering that the refurbishments will sometimes require A350 jets to be pulled from service, so you don't want to do this all at once. While that would technically mean it would be quicker, you'd need the space and resources, which is not feasible, and also this would pretty much shut down a large portion of the airline's international flying. The newest agreement will see a modernized Royal Silk business class with premium economy and also standard economy class adjustments. Passengers should therefore be expected to enjoy some real state-of-the-art cabins as Thai Airways firmly looks towards the future and wants to really have a cabin product that could compete with other established neighbouring efforts. Moreover, Airbus's ability to support Thai Airways in such a significant investment for its future is a landmark moment really for the pair, and Airbus is happy to play a fundamental role in this. For Airbus, it also signifies the opportunity to actually be a solution for other airlines moving forward. We are going to see many more airlines requiring cabin refreshes for their A350s, as shockingly, and if you're not sitting down, you probably should, the realization hits that some of these A350s are going to hit the midlife stage of their operational period. That's scary. It feels like just yesterday the A350 was truly entering service, and don't get me wrong, there are still many more A350s to be delivered, and there'll be many more in operation for many more decades, but some of those first deliveries are starting to get on, and airlines are going to want to adjust their cabin product. The cabin refurbishment plan also aligns with the airline's intent to continue growing its fleet and business to better position itself for the long term. Away from a reliance on just the 350, Thai Airways says its fleet will grow to almost 150 planes over the next 10 years, as it places greater reliance on adding wide-body planes, among others. The Thailand-based company, you may recall, confirmed it would purchase additional 787 jets in 2024, after conducting a long search for a new wide-body aircraft to fuel expansion efforts. Over to the final story, and Korean Air has published its 2025 Q1 results, which showcased record high sales but some considerable drops in profit. The airline reported a net operating profit of USD 133 million, but ultimately this was significantly below the same period 1 year prior, and it remains a focus that the airline needs to look towards moving forward, but it would be a lie to say that they're not the only South Korean carrier that has hit a bit of financial challenges, and while this is by no means a end of the world scenario, it's certainly something to pick up on. What is good, however, is Korean Air's ability to continue seeing very solid demand right across the network, an encouraging thing to build upon. Revenue from the airline's passenger division jumped, which aligns with the expected performance metrics. Unfortunately, however, with revenue jumping, so did operating expenses, which now means the airline needs to find a way to manage the rising expenses despite enjoyed success in its demand. One of the standout forecasts was really the net income, dropping almost 50% yearly at 44%. Korean Air reaffirming that its quarterly performance took a hit because of ongoing maintenance effort, alongside much more. In terms of looking ahead in some of the markets and their performance, they are seeing, like I said, strong bookings year over year, with no real market necessarily massively struggling. There is one out of them all, however, that they are keeping maybe a little bit more of a watch on. That would be China, which has been a bit more complex. Korean Air notes that with more competition than ever before, it has been a bit of an obstacle to enjoy sustained success in this country, especially with enhanced flying between China and the United States. Interesting to really see how that develops with tariffs and political tensions moving forward. There has also been pretty strong demand in Europe. Korean Air says that is no doubt being boosted by the Easter holidays, and then after that you've got a long weekend in May. Lastly, there's also been some robust demand across Southeast Asia and the Oceania region, especially for what Korean Air would at the very least consider markets to maybe be more leisure-based. Charter flights are remaining a focus. The airline is still trying to find ways to maximize revenue by expanding into high-demand markets and launching some of these new charter flights in the upcoming months, and obviously in the past too. Keen to hear your take down below on any of the thoughts in today's video. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. And we'll fly.